Alright, in this scribble class we'll look at solving basic equations using the multiplication principle. Like we said in the last scribble cast or the last video, the purpose of solving any equation is for you to figure out what x is. So in each of these equations up here, there had to have been some kind of principles to get me from there down to that point there, etc. Okay, so the one that we're focused on today is one called the multiplication or the division principle, which you would use in this case there. Anyway, let's take a look how it works. So what it says is that if you multiply or divide one side of an equation by anything, as long as you do the exact same thing on the other side, you still have an equivalent equation. Sounds similar to the addition-subtraction principle? Here's an example. If A is equal to B, then if I double A, I double B, and things are still equal. Or if I half A and half B, things are still equal. Remember the teeter-totter? Making sure that things stay in balance, that's the key. And what you do is you use this principle to try and, not like in this case, put something beside the A, but what you're trying to do is get the A or the V or the X or whatever by itself. Let's try some. So here I've got a question that says 6 times something is equal to 90, and I want to know what that something is. I could, I guess, just start guessing, and maybe it's 12 or 14 or 16 or something. I could guess that, but if I see that this is 6 times x is equal to 90, I could use this multiplication principle to get rid of that. Now you might wonder, well, what do you mean multiplication principle? Why would you multiply to get rid of the 6? Well, you could multiply in any time you're going to use the multiplication principle. You can multiply by the reciprocal of this, and that'll get rid of it. So if I multiply this side by 1/6, do you see the 1's cancel, the 6's cancel? That's a factor of 1. So all of this stuff goes, and that's legal to do as long as you do the exact same thing on the other side. So on the left side, I am left with an x. On the right side, 90 times 1 divided by 6 should be about 15. Okay, same thing with this one. I'm going to take this side and multiply it by a quarter, make it this side and multiply it by a quarter. Here, a quarter times 4 is 1, so I can write it, I could write 1x, or I could just write x. And then on this side, I multiply those two fractions. Now, if you want to solve it by dividing, you're really doing the same thing. So if you're wanting to solve this by dividing, you could say, okay, well, I'm multiplying by 6, so let's do the opposite operation. Divide this side by 6, divide this side by 6. And notice that you're going to get the exact same answer. And same over there. Let's maybe try a couple. Try and solve these, and press pause, and then press play and see if you got them right. Okay, hopefully you're back. So this would be 2x equals minus 7. I want to get rid of the 2. Let's use the multiplication principle. So I'm going to multiply this side by the reciprocal of 2, as long as I multiply that side by the reciprocal of 2. On the left side, the numbers cancel out, so I'm left with an x. On the right side, I've got negative 7 times 1 divided by 1 times 2 is 2. Done. This one, let's use the division principle. So I'll divide this side by negative 5. I can do that as long as I divide this side by negative 5. Notice I divide it by the number and whatever the sign is. So these will cancel, the 5's will cancel, or they're factors of 1. And then on this side, I'm left with 23 over a negative 5, which we've seen before you could rewrite as negative 23 over 5. Okay, this one here. Oh, I'm dividing this time. X is divided by 3. So to get rid of that, I could multiply it by 3. If I times this side by 3, I have to multiply that side by 3. 3's cancel. X is equal to 12. you probably, when you looked at this initially, you probably thought 12. So what number divided by 3 gives you 4? So that number 12 divided by 3 gives you 4. So that answer is correct. That idea of checking your answers as you go, plugging the number back in, is a great way to check to see if your answer is correct for solving an equation. Okay, now here's another one similar to this one, but there's a negative sign. So I could times it by 3, but if I only times it by 3, I'm just canceling the 3's. There's still that negative there. I can't have that. So maybe I should multiply both sides by a negative 3. In that case, the two negatives cancel. The 3's are a factor of 1, they cancel. If I multiply this side by a negative 3, I have to multiply this side by a negative 3. So x is equal to 4 times a negative 3, negative 12. Here's 3 more questions. Give them a shot, pause, then press play. Okay, to solve this one, I'm going to take the 3/4 x is equal to minus 9. And it looks like there's 2 things that you have to do there, right? You could divide by 3 and times by 4, but why not just multiply each side by the reciprocal? We said that that was okay. So the reciprocal of this is 4/3. And if I do it on that side, I must also do it on this side. Here, the 3's are a factor of 1, 4's are a factor of 1. Left only with an x on the left side, which is where I'm going. And then on the right side, 3 will go into 9 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. So my answer is negative 12. Let's just maybe check that to see if that's right. So I have 3/4 multiplied by negative 12. So my question is that negative 9? So 4 goes into 12 3 times, and negative 3 times 3, yeah, it's 9. That's good. Again, good idea to check. So this one you would multiply, what do you think, by? Because you can't answer me, because you can't see me. Anyway, you would multiply both sides by a negative, and you'd find the reciprocal of that. So this side by negative 3/2, this side by negative 3/2. The negatives cancel. The 2's are a factor of 1, 3's are a factor of 1. Left side, only x. Perfect. And then on the right side, I don't think I can simplify any of that. Minus times minus, though, is a positive. 5 3's are 15. 4 2's, 8. Did you get the right answer? Hopefully. Last one. Oh, something's messed up here. All these ones up here, my x was on the left side. This one's on the right side. If it's on the right-hand side, that's okay. You just have to focus on getting rid of this stuff here, not getting rid of that stuff. So if I have 2/3 is equal to negative 5 6y, what I want to do is get rid of this. So I'm going to take and multiply this side by a negative 6/5. Notice I don't multiply by y, it's just the number I want to get rid of. And then if I do it on that side, I've got to take this and multiply it by negative 6/5. So on this side, 6 and 6, it's a factor of 1. Minus and minus, so it's positive. The 5's are a factor of 1. So on the right side, I'm just left with a y. And then on the left side, negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. 5 times 3, 15. So that is the division and multiplication principle. Notice all the questions were fairly the same, just because we were focused on multiplication principle. In future videos, we'll be up in the ante and making you do more than one principle to solve an equation.